Andy, where are our sniffs? Where are our Thursday night sniffs? We can't live without our sniffs.
Who walks around?
Take it easy.
Sniffing.
Relax. Your Thursday night sniffs are coming. What have I told you all year? I mean, I could yell something at you for 6 years straight. You think you guys are going to learn any lessons? No, but I'll still tell you once again. Look at a primetime game and ask yourself, if this game was on Sunday at 1 o'clock in the midst of the entire slate of games, would you be placing enter on any of these bets? Or conversely, the answer is yes, are you forcing bets because it's the only game on? It's the only seed of sale where you can ravage and digitally plunge and pillage and try to come out with your pearls on a Thursday. And I know that's what you're doing. No, Andy, I have the analytics. There's an edge in every game if you... All right, keep thinking that. But what I'm going to do is something that I normally don't do, but I think it's a good change for this week. So many times I give you guys props for the weekend. By the time you guys watch it on Saturday night or Sunday morning, the lines have shifted so much. I give out a guy 48 receiving yards. By Sunday morning, it's at 72. And now, in order for us both to win, this guy nearly has to go off just for you to cover the Sunday price. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit the Thursday picks quick. There are a couple that I like. And then I'm going to go into the Sunday picks that I like because I scoured the lines today, saw some that I like, and I thought I would give them to you early so that maybe you guys can enjoy an early sniff. The early sniff catches the fair price. And another reason this would be good for this video is you can actually, in the comments, let me know of other things that you want me to talk about. You found some relevant information, but Andy, I saw the Chargers are missing 2 offensive linemen. Herbert re-aggravated the high ankle sprain. They're playing the Chiefs. What about the Chiefs? If there's anything I don't talk about in this video that you want me to talk about, I will bring it up on a Dave and a Dan. You know, it has to clear my board, aka me. I have to deem it worthy of discussion. But if you have something that I want to talk about, just drop it in the comments and I will get to it on Friday. And you should definitely be checking out that Friday show, A Dave and a Dan, which will be uploaded Friday night once again. And I hope to see you all there. So let's go to Thursday. Let me talk about this game a little bit. I think this game, from what I can tell on the Patreon chat, from what I'm seeing on Twitter, I'm seeing all different kinds of bets. You know what the Dans are doing. The Dans are all over the Dallas Cowboys, 5.5, 6 points. Every Dan you've ever known is on them. So ask yourself, are you going to be a Dan or do you want to go elsewhere? Dan. If Dans are on props, who are they talking about? Who's the #1 receiver in fantasy? Who's going up? Who's making the headlines? Who had the highlight catch? It's Malik Neighbors. Is that where you're going? Dan. Were you about to hit enter on your Malik Neighbors Dallas Cowboys -5.5 parlay as I was saying this?
No.
Is he talking to me? I am talking to you. Everyone's looking down that block at Malik Neighbors over. Everyone's looking at him. I see down the block right now.
Dan.
Here's what I know about people. It's the blind leading the blind. You want to know where that block ends? At a place with no money. Everyone's walking there. I'll just go down here. You want to know who the #1 receiver is? As of the entire year last year, he's on the other sideline. And when looking at these 2 alpha receivers, I'm going to go with the #1 receiver in the NFL of 2023, CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go with his over on 79.5 or 80 receiving yards, especially when I get a little tip from my guy Mike Clay over at ESPN, who noted that the Giants are going to be missing 2 cornerbacks in this game. So are they going to drag out their lone good corner to the slot to deal with CeeDee? So if CeeDee gets any sort of cupcake matchups in the slot, he is going to expose that secondary for the semi-frauds that they are without any of their starters. So give me that over on CeeDee Lamb. I know you're looking at Neighbors. Go ahead. Hit on the Instagram model. You know how full that DM is right now? CeeDee Lamb, for whatever reason, maybe that DM is a little less full. Give me the over on CeeDee Lamb's receiving. And if Malik Neighbors is drawing all the bets, means he's drawing the defensive attention as well. You know he's going to be getting Trayvon Diggs. They're going to roll a safety over. They're going to bracket him at the best they can. So if that's going to be the case, give me the next best option for the Giants. Oh, wait, they don't have a next best option. All right, well, then give me the next best option of the next best option. And that is Wandale Robinson, who, for whatever reason, he has Daniel Jones' trust for a couple seasons now. And we don't need some massive yardage total. He's in the mid-30s. and I'm going to go over on Wandale. He doesn't have to have a huge game. He's covered this number in 2 of the 3 games. I mean, he had like a 10-target game week 1, I believe. So we know, especially if they're trailing, he'll see a lot of short targets, and maybe we can just trickle our way to that over like we did with Demario Douglas. So give me the over for Wandale Robinson. Now, as I was mentioning, I don't know for player props if the donkey charts apply, because in terms of total money, there's so much more money being put on spreads and money lines and totals. If 99% of people are betting the over on a prop, I don't know if it has that same type of donkey chart feel, but I do know that over like 95% of the bets are on Rico Dowdle's over on rushing attempts. And why is everybody betting that? Because they saw the downtick with Zeke last week and the uptick in Rico Dowdle, as they should, by the way. I mean, Zeke is total dust, which is going to bring me to my next bet. If we're getting fewer touches for Zeke, fewer carries for Zeke, they haven't projected at 7.5, then give me the under 9.5 on longest rush. He hasn't hit this once, even with the decent amount of carries in the first 2 weeks. So he hasn't hit that once. He's getting fewer carries projected. Give me the under 9.5 longest rush for Ezekiel Elliott. And then a quick same game parlay for this Thursday game. Give me the alt receiving for CeeDee, for Wandale, and then the under 2.5 receptions for Jalen Tolbert. Wait, why? I saw he was all over the stat sheet the last 2 weeks. Well, what happened the last 2 weeks? They were trailing by multiple touchdowns and had to throw every single play. So everybody on the stat sheet had a good amount of catches. But what happened week 1 when the game was under control? 2 targets, 1 reception. So give me the under 2.5 catches, which will add a third leg. And if you want to use that FanDuel boost, there's my 3-legger for you. So that's my same game parlay for a Thursday night.
I got 5 picks this weekend that are incredible.
So I'm going to start this week by saying goodbye to yet another value we found for a couple of weeks, and now his numbers have gone to where they belong. That's Chris Olave, who came through for us. R.I.P. Chris. We loved having you in the 50s. We can't. You're like a free agent who we had to let go. You're not worth the 70s. So now we're going to look for more values, because that's what we do here. We send people off to have their better times ahead with their higher totals. We like the band before they get popular, and that was the case with Diontae Johnson last week. I said the number that he had next to his name was built by Bryce Young. We now have Andy Dalton stepping into there. We even had his alt in the parlay at 70+. He even cleared that by a mile. I told you Diontae Johnson was one of the best target earners in the league. He's such a good target earner that I think this value is still there, despite the fact that they've raised the total probably a good 10 yards, but it should be. But when you think that they lost Adam Thielen, so to me, the bump in yardage total, but the loss of Adam Thielen, I think negates that. Going up against a Cincinnati team who just let Jaden Daniels throw all over them. And are you going to be that guy? You're going to be that guy who watched the one start where Jaden Daniels looked good. So now you say he's a great quarterback. So much for your young quarterbacks. I have news for you. NHL goalies and quarterbacks in the NFL. 5 years. I need to see 5 years. And then I go, that's a good quarterback. I'm not just a quick marry me after 2 good dates guy like you. That's you. And then you wonder why you're miserable and your wife hates you, because you thought Jaden Daniels was the one to put the ring on. He's not, I can assure you that. But he threw all over this pass defense in Cincinnati, and Dalton going up against his old team at home, I believe should be able to get Diontae Johnson over the finish line here. I mean, the total is still doable in the high 50s, approaching 60. I will take the over for Diontae Johnson. And then on that other sideline, we saw the return of T. Higgins. He looked fine. We needed to wait. Did they rush him back? We're going to see. How's the hamstring? He looked fine. He was drawing single coverage because obviously defenses are rolling safeties and everybody over to Jamar Chase. And now that he got that under his belt, I'm expecting him to have a nice game. And we have, like, this is one, you know, T. Higgins. We've been watching him for years. Give me 5 years of a player, and then I will say that's a good player. We know T. Higgins is a good player. And now that we know he's healthy after getting through that game, and we have a total at 51.5, in a game where, let's just be honest, it looks like Cincinnati's going to have to throw every single game, considering how poorly their defense played. I'm going over 51.5 receiving yards for T. Higgins. And then also give me a second plus money alt over 65.5 receiving yards on T. Higgins. So if you were wondering if I still had it in me to be a Dan, I'm about to be one right now. Hi guys, how are you? My name's Dan, and I'm going to be betting on the Aaron Jones revenge. Hi, yeah, that's me. Aaron Jones, revenge game, that whole narrative. But Aaron Jones, he's been dynamic ever since he was on the Packers, and he never lost. Did you see him in the playoffs last year? Did you see him early this year? He's a great player. Green Bay kind of screwed him and then gave Josh Jacobs a massive deal, kind of closer to the deal that he wanted. So they let him go, and he signed with the rival. I really think, I know he had like 57% of the touches. That's the right thing to do, by the way. Do not overwork him because he's such a valuable running back, and he's so explosive. You don't want him pulling a hammy like he did last year. But in this particular game, in Green Bay against his old team, I really have faith in O'Connell to manufacture touches because we obviously know he's such a great receiver. You saw that last week. I mean, it's so early in the week, I couldn't even find his rushing and receiving total, so just know my guess it's going to be 77.5. That's my personal guess. I'll take the over on that, but that's not there right now. Assuming it is, I really like that one. Give me the over 56.5 rushing. When I was texting with Josh about this before, he goes, well, what's the rushing at? Like 62.5? That's what I would put it at. So the fact that it's at 56.5, I believe he will have an uptick in touches. They're going to do right by him, in my opinion, which is why I'm going to do something I never do. Goal scorers in the NHL, touchdown scorers in the NFL. I hate the fact that you can be dead right about a player and not be paid off because they didn't just fall in the end zone. I could sniff out a guy who has 140 yards, but if he just gets tackled at the 2, I'm a loser because he didn't have a touchdown. Connor McDavid could have 6 assists in a game, but because he didn't score a goal, I'm a loser. I think touchdowns and goal scores are too luck dependent. Unless I know they're going to script something for a guy to score. And I truly believe if they even sniff the goal line, Aaron Jones is getting every opportunity to get that thing in there. So give me the over half of it. Is that what you even say? I take it so. Give me Aaron Jones for a touchdown. Over half of an anytime touchdown for Aaron Jones. Plus 130. My price would be minus 140. That's pretty crazy. It's not like the Green Bay Packers run defense is that great. And you know they're going to get Aaron Jones an opportunity to get in there. He's always been a great goal line back. So give me the over half of a touchdown for Aaron Jones, as well as that over on rushing yards. But I really do love that over rushing and receiving, despite the fact I haven't seen it listed anywhere just yet. So give me those Aaron Jones overs. And what a crazy Sunday this is. I just gave you a touchdown score, and now I'm going to give you a pizzeria bet. I mean, how crazy is that? Touchdowns, pizzerias. Andy, what's going on? Are you a Dan? I don't know. It tickles my fancy. And that is the under in this Texans-Jaguars game. The Jaguars, I don't have to explain myself. You obviously see all the trials and tribulations that they're going through. But like I just said about not trusting quarterbacks until I see 5 years of sustained play, you know C.J. Stroud hasn't looked like he did last year early so far this season. Yes, we saw him play okay in a couple straight. He did not look that good against Chicago. Then you had that game last week. So he's coming into this game. There's going to be no Joe Mixon, by the way. Tank Dell missed practice on Wednesday with general soreness. Could this one just look like that Chicago game? I would imagine so. No Mixon, maybe no Dell. Stroud not playing at his highest level. Yeah, I will take the under 46 in this game. Believe that? What are you going to do? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So now why don't we go over to Jersey? We check in on old Aaron Rodgers and the Jets over there.
You think I haven't seen the asses of all my Italian friends' moms? It looks like a house that was hit by Hurricane Sandy. You can kind of see where the once beautiful house used to be.
They're taking on the Denver Broncos, and it's been a tough go of things for Garrett Wilson so far. Brutal stretch of cornerbacks that he has to face week after week. had Christian Gonzalez last week. Now it gets even worse. You got Patrick Surtain coming in there. And as you saw with Aaron Rodgers last week, he's a real quarterback. He actually knows how to get it to other people depending on what the defense is doing. And if they're going to be able to take Wilson out of the game, as these other defenses have focused on doing, then I believe there's going to be stuff in the short passing game available, which is why I'm going to the over 4.5 catches for Breece Hall. The New York Jets are amongst the top 5 in passes thrown to the running backs. We've seen Breece Hall just rake up the catches, especially with Rodgers still being in this early part of the season where I know he looked good on the move last week, but he probably doesn't want to be running around like a maniac. And I do think he wants to get the ball out of his hands relatively early, not take too many sacks. And I think that bodes well for the over 4.5 catches for Breece Hall. He's hit this rather easily on multiple occasions, and I think this one sets up well for it as well. So give me the over 4.5 catches. Now let's go to Sunday Night Football, where I'm going to bring up a couple names you've heard on the show these last couple of weeks. They've done well for you, and they've not done well for you. Both of these guys are 1-1 with you. And now this is the tiebreaker, because as Meatloaf once said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but maybe one hits and one doesn't, and now it's like a 3 out of 6. Is that bad? It's not great, but I'm going to go with the over on Dalton Kincaid, who hit for us last week. You can't show me a hit and then lower the guy's receiving total, which is what happened. We went from 37.5, now we're 36.5. I'm sorry, I'm taking it. I don't have to think about it. It's good. Very little analysis has to go into it. I'm taking the over on a guy who's better than 36.5 yards. That's as simple as that. I liked him at 37.5 last week. Got news for you. Like him at 36.5 this week. Now, Zay Flowers, I told you I smelled a rat last week with that whole game. I took him and Andrews together. The good news is we can truly eliminate Andrews from the player pool. Because once you show me something like the amount of routes he ran, the amount of snaps he was on the field, all right, so now that's a legitimate issue. He's just not out there. But you didn't expect Baltimore to just go up by 1,000,000 points, then they never had to throw, and Zay Flowers was stuck at like 15 yards. In this game against the Bills, which should be an entertaining game, there should be a little bit of back and forth. Best part about getting sunk on an under or an over is that the next week you get a better number. Zay Flowers, we had him in the 40s. We hit that with ease. Then he went up to the 50s. Had a bad game. Now back to the 40s. Give me the over 48.5 receiving yards for Zay Flowers. Obviously, I got to hit you with that Pirate Parlay. I was onto something last week with that 70s Parlay. And I almost said we hit the first couple and Kelsey sold us. Let me try that one again. Give me T. Higgins, 70+ receiving. Aaron Jones, 70+ rushing. And then Zay Flowers, 70+ receiving.
Winner.
And that is what I have for you here on a Thursday into Sunday for week 4. There will still be another Monday video. There will also be a Dave and a Dan on Friday. Like I said, if you have any questions, you want to ask me anything, put it down below.
Oh, God damn it!
And I'll read it, and maybe I'll get to it with Dave. But you know what else you got to do? All the same stuff. It's redundant. Yes.
God damn it! Let's show some goddamn hustle!
I can't reiterate how much I don't want to ask you to do this. But I also want to reiterate how much I need you to do this. Like every one of these videos, comment.
God damn it, let's do it again!
Hit the share button and text it to yourself. Who knows what this algorithm needs? Who knows if they know that you took something and shared it with someone outside the app, it sends it to everything's a possible. Full Jamie Kennedy, everybody's a suspect. Do whatever you can to help the videos grow. It's very much appreciated. But, if you really want to be near and dear to my heart, you want to be a part-time owner of that Price is Right wheel, there's only one way to do that. You join the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Andy Francess. There are chat rooms in there. Some chat rooms I don't even go in. I'm scared of them because there's all sorts of pirate tickets for sports that I don't bet on. But I'll be in that NFL chat. I'll be in that NHL chat. And hopefully I see you there. If not, no worries. I will see you here for a Dave and a Dan on Friday. Looking forward to it. I will talk to you then. Take it easy. Good luck on Thursday, but better luck to me.
All right, God damn it, let's hit the showers, God damn it!